I can feel every inch of you. How can you be so perfectly firm, alien stepsisters? The station floated like a silver jewel among the stars, its vast windows reflecting distant suns and drifting asteroid fields. Lena took a deep breath, trying to calm her nerves. She had traveled across half the galaxy to reach this station, a hub where humans and multiple alien species coexisted. But nothing in her training had prepared her for what awaited her inside. The moment she stepped through the airlock, a strange mix of sounds and scents hit her. The station buzzed with life. Humans and aliens moved together, some tall and elegant with translucent skin that shimmered in the artificial lights, others small and quick with 6 arms that moved independently like a spider's. Lena adjusted her bag over her shoulder and reminded herself, just act normal. You're here to work, not to make friends yet. Her first stop was the personnel office. As she walked, she noticed 2 figures waiting near the station's central hub. One was tall and elegant, her skin a soft shade of lavender that glowed faintly under the lights. The other was shorter, almost feline in movement, her golden eyes glinting with curiosity. A voice interrupted her thoughts. "You must be Lena," it said. Lena turned to see a young man at the desk, his human features warm but professional. "I'm Officer Delvin. Welcome to Endara Station. There's something you should know." Lena raised an eyebrow. "What's that?" Delvin hesitated. "You have stepsisters. They're also assigned to this station." Lena blinked. "Stepsisters?" "Yes," Delvin said, sliding a data pad across the desk. "Vila and Kiri. They've been assigned under the same division as you. You'll be working closely together." Lena's stomach tightened. She wasn't ready for this. Family had always been complicated on Earth, and now she was expected to bond with alien stepsisters she had never met before. She scanned the data pad. Photos of Vila and Kiri stared back at her. The taller one, Vila, had a soft smile and an aura of calm intelligence. Kiri's gaze was sharp, almost mischievous, and her stance suggested she was always ready to leap into action. "Good luck," Delvin said, as if that one sentence could prepare her for the chaos to come. Lena took a deep breath and walked toward the lounge where Vila and Kiri were waiting. As she approached, she realized the 2 aliens were observing her just as intensely. Vila tilted her head, her eyes flickering with colors like the northern lights. Kiri's eyes seemed to peer directly into her mind, making Lena shiver slightly. "Hello," Lena said, keeping her voice calm. "I'm Lena. I guess we're stepsisters now?" Vila smiled gently. "Yes, I am Vila. It is interesting to meet my new family." Kiri crossed her arms and tilted her head. "I'm Kiri, and I hope you can keep up. The station isn't easy for those who are slow to learn." Lena felt a spark of nerves. I think I'll manage." She tried to sound confident, though her hands trembled slightly. The 3 of them walked toward the engineering wing, where their first assignment awaited. Lena noticed how differently the 2 aliens moved. Vila's movements were smooth and precise, almost like a dancer. Kiri's were quick and sharp, every gesture purposeful. Lena realized immediately that they were both highly skilled, but in very different ways. Their first task was simple in theory: assist with the maintenance of the station's hydroponics dome. But as soon as they entered, Lena noticed how alien this place truly was. Plants of all shapes and colors hung from ceilings and walls, some glowing faintly, others shifting their leaves as if aware of the humans nearby. "Careful," Vila said softly, pointing to a cluster of luminescent flowers. "They respond to touch. Too much pressure can irritate them." Lena nodded, gently moving her hands along the soft leaves. She marveled at how alive the plants seemed. Kiri, on the other hand, moved quickly, adjusting a panel that monitored the dome's water flow. "We don't have time for hesitation," she said. "The system's pressure is slightly off, and if we delay, the entire dome could fail." Lena felt a surge of admiration and fear. Vila and Kiri seemed to know exactly what to do while she was still learning. She bit her lip, trying not to feel useless. Hours passed, and the three stepsisters worked together, though not always smoothly. Vila preferred careful, measured movements, analyzing every plant and wire. Kiri preferred quick action, adjusting panels and fixing leaks with lightning speed. Lena found herself in the middle, trying to mediate, adapt, and learn. By the end of the day, the dome was stable, the plants thriving, and Lena felt a tiny spark of accomplishment. Vila gave her a small nod of approval while Kiri's sharp eyes softened just a fraction. "You're not as slow as I thought," Kiri said with a smirk. Lena smiled, relief washing over her. "Thanks, I think." After work, they returned to the station's observation deck. The room was quiet, and through the wide glass panels the galaxy stretched endlessly. Stars glimmered like diamonds, and distant planets swirled in colorful gases. Vila floated closer to the glass, her lavender skin glowing faintly. "It is beautiful, isn't it? The stars, the endless possibilities." Kiri leaned against the railing. "I prefer the action, but I suppose it's nice to look at sometimes." Lena smiled at the contrast between them. Despite their differences, they were her family now, strange, alien, and fascinating. She realized that forming a bond wouldn't be easy, but it could be possible. "Maybe we're not so different," Lena said quietly. "Even if we look different and think differently, maybe we can work together." Vila turned to her, eyes shimmering. "I hope so. We must try." Kiri finally smiled, just a small curve of her lips, but it was enough. "Fine, but don't slow me down." They laughed softly, and for the first time, Lena felt a warmth in her chest. This bond, however strange and challenging, was hers to nurture. Later that night, as Lena lay in her quarters, she thought about the day's events. The station hummed around her, alive with the sounds of life from countless species. She realized something profound. Being human in this galaxy wasn't about being the strongest or the fastest. It was about curiosity, empathy, and the willingness to understand others. Her stepsisters were alien, unpredictable, and sometimes intimidating. But already she felt the faint threads of a connection forming, a connection that could grow into something stronger than any starship or technology in the galaxy. Lena closed her eyes, imagining the adventures to come. Together they could face anything this station, or the galaxy, threw at them. And somehow, in this strange new world, she felt at home. The morning light of Andara Station filtered through the observation dome, painting the corridors in pale gold. Lena stretched and glanced at the schedule board. Today promised no routine maintenance. It had something far more complicated, a station-wide systems check. But what caught her attention immediately was the alert flashing on the board. Power core fluctuations detected. Immediate attention required. She felt a familiar knot of anxiety in her stomach. Vila and Kiri were already in the engineering bay when she arrived, deep in discussion with Chief Engineer Rallin. "Lena," Rallin said without looking up, "good. We need all hands on this. The power core is unstable. If the fluctuations continue, half the station could lose gravity or life support temporarily." Lena swallowed hard. She had faced mechanical problems before, but never one that could endanger hundreds of lives at once. She glanced at her stepsisters. Vila's skin shimmered faintly as she analyzed schematics projected in midair. Kiri's eyes darted from panel to panel, her movements precise and fast. "Divide and conquer," Rallin continued. "Vila, you handle the diagnostics. Kiri, monitor the energy flows. Lena, assist where needed and coordinate communication." Lena nodded. She felt her heartbeat quicken. Coordinating was her strength, at least, and she knew she could keep the three of them working together efficiently. But she also understood this would be a test, not only of her skills, but of their ability to cooperate. They entered the power core chamber. The room was vast, humming with energy. Pipes and conduits crisscrossed overhead, and the floor vibrated slightly with the force of the core below. Lena felt a shiver of awe. This was a world of technology that few humans had ever seen firsthand. Vila's hands moved gracefully, touching screens and panels. "The sensors indicate a cyclical fluctuation," she said, voice calm. "But the source is unclear. It may be a misalignment in the energy regulators." Kiri tapped a panel, sending a stream of data across the room. "Or it could be a pressure imbalance. We can't be sure until we isolate the variables." Her tone was sharp, commanding, as though no one could question her judgment. Lena stepped between them, hands slightly raised. "Okay, let's try this systematically. Vila, check the regulators first. Kiri, monitor the energy spikes and relay them to me. I'll coordinate adjustments." They began their work. At first, it was slow going. Vila's precision clashed with Kiri's speed. Vila double-checked every calculation, while Kiri impatiently flipped switches and adjusted dials. Lena felt the tension rise like static electricity. "Vila, we don't have time for double checks on every step," Kiri snapped. "Rushing could damage the regulators further," Vila replied, her voice steady but firm. Lena held up a hand. "Stop, both of you. Listen, we need both approaches. Vila, you ensure we don't break anything. Kiri, you make the adjustments. I'll coordinate the timing so your work complements each other." The two aliens exchanged a glance and then reluctantly nodded. For the first time, Lena felt a flicker of hope that they could work together. Hours passed. The three of them moved in an almost synchronized rhythm. Lena relayed information between Vila and Kiri, noting each energy spike and fluctuation. Slowly, the core began to stabilize. Then, just as they thought they were making progress, a sudden alarm blared. A section of the chamber lights dimmed and the hum of the power core became irregular. Lena's stomach dropped. "What's happening?" Vila's eyes flickered rapidly. "The regulator is failing under stress. We need to redistribute the energy." Kiri's golden eyes narrowed. "Then we do it, now." Lena bit her lip. This required trust in her stepsisters and trust in herself. She quickly calculated a sequence of adjustments that would allow them to stabilize the core without overloading it. "Follow my instructions exactly," she said. "We do this together. On my count." They nodded. Lena took a deep breath and began. "Vila, reduce output to nodes 7 through 9. Kiri, increase flow to 12 and 14. Now." Vila's hands moved delicately over the control panels. Kiri's movements were sharp and precise. Lena coordinated each step, watching the energy readings with intense focus. Slowly, the hum of the power core steadied. The lights returned to full brightness. They all exhaled. Lena felt a rush of relief and pride. They had done it together. Vila gave her a small smile. "Your coordination was effective. We could not have done it without you." Kiri smirked, though her eyes were warm. "Not bad for a human." Lena laughed softly, her nerves finally relaxing. "Not bad. I think that's high praise from you." They spent the rest of the day checking for lingering issues and making small adjustments. Throughout it all, Lena noticed a subtle change in their interactions. Vila and Kiri were beginning to anticipate each other's actions. Their movements synchronized almost instinctively, guided by Lena's coordination. It was a small but significant victory, not just for the power core, but for their relationship. After the work was done, the three stepsisters gathered in the station's observation dome once again. The galaxy stretched before them, calm and endless. "I have to admit," Vila said softly, "today was enlightening. I did not expect such a harmonious outcome." Kiri stretched her arms, yawning lightly. "I agree. It was tolerable, and Lena, you weren't completely useless." Lena laughed, shaking her head. "Thanks, I think." They leaned on the railing, looking at the stars in comfortable silence. It was not just the calm of space that was soothing. It was the feeling of connection, fragile but growing, between them. Lena realized that working together under pressure had brought them closer than any casual conversation could have. "You know," Lena said, breaking the silence, "I think we make a good team. If we keep learning from each other, there's nothing we can't handle." Vila turned to her, eyes shining. "I hope you are correct. It is comforting to think so." Kiri smirked again, but this time there was genuine warmth. Fine, we'll see how the next challenge goes, but for now I suppose I can enjoy the view. As night fell on the station, Lena returned to her quarters, exhausted but satisfied. Today had been more than just a technical challenge. It had been a lesson in trust, patience, and understanding. She realized that being human in this galaxy was not about strength or technology alone. It was about empathy, communication, and the willingness to adapt. Her stepsisters were still alien, still unpredictable, and sometimes frustrating. But they were also brilliant, capable, and forming a bond that Lena felt in her chest as strongly as any family tie back on Earth. Lying in her bunk, Lena imagined the days to come. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders and dangers, and Andara Station was just a small corner of it. But with Vila and Kiri by her side, she felt ready for anything. Tomorrow they would face new challenges, unexplored sections of the station, unexpected technical problems, and perhaps even a few surprises from the other inhabitants. But Lena knew one thing for certain. Together, they could overcome anything. And in the quiet hum of the station, Lena drifted to sleep, comforted by the faint glow of the stars outside and the growing sense that she was not alone in this strange, beautiful universe. The shuttle's engines hummed steadily as it left the safety of Andara Station, carrying Lena, Vila, and Kiri toward the uncharted planet designated Terev 9. Outside the viewport, the stars streaked past in pale trails of light, but inside, a tense excitement filled the cabin. Mission briefing said this planet is unexplored, Lena said, her fingers tapping nervously on the armrest. No one knows what's down there. Vila floated nearby, her lavender skin glowing softly. Unexplored worlds hold both danger and knowledge. Observation is crucial before intervention. Caution must guide our actions. Kiri leaned back, her golden eyes gleaming with curiosity. Caution is fine, but sometimes action is better. If we wait too long, we miss opportunities. Lena smiled at their familiar disagreement. Well, I guess we'll find a balance together. The shuttle landed smoothly on a rocky plateau. Outside, the landscape stretched endlessly. Tall crystal spires caught the sunlight, and strange plants waved like living banners in the wind. The air was breathable, but tinged with a faint metallic scent. Lena adjusted her helmet and stepped out carefully. First rule of exploration, Vila said, scanning the environment with a handheld device. Observe before touching. We do not know which life forms might be sensitive or dangerous. Kiri, ignoring the caution, bounded forward, her claws lightly brushing the crystals. Look at this. The structure is crystalline but organic. Incredible. Lena hesitated for a moment, then followed them, trying to balance caution and curiosity. It was exhilarating to explore a new world, but also slightly terrifying. Every rustle of alien foliage or glint of light could be a discovery or a hazard. As they ventured further, Vila pointed to a cluster of glowing orbs growing from the ground. These emit low-frequency pulses. They may be communicating with each other. Kiri crouched and touched one of the orbs lightly. A ripple of light ran through her hand, but she did not flinch. They're safe, she said confidently, and beautiful. Lena carefully examined the orb from a distance, noting its patterns. It looks like a network, she said. If we can map it, maybe we can learn something about the planet's ecosystem. Hours passed as they moved deeper into the alien terrain. They collected samples, documented strange wildlife, and shared ideas. Every moment revealed more about each other's strengths. Vila's patience and scientific method balanced Kiri's instinct and speed, while Lena's human adaptability bridged their approaches, making them an efficient, complementary team. But then, a sudden tremor shook the ground. Lena stumbled, catching herself against a jagged crystal formation. Vila extended a floating arm, steadying her. Kiri's eyes narrowed. "What was that?" Lena asked, heart pounding. Vila scanned the area. "The tectonic activity is unstable. A minor quake, but it may escalate. Kiri touched the crystals beneath her feet, her telepathic sense probing the energy patterns of the planet. It's more than that. The energy, it's reacting to us. Something here is aware of our presence. Lena felt a shiver. Aware, like intelligent. Possibly, Kiri replied. We must proceed carefully. The trio moved cautiously, keeping close together. The planet seemed alive in ways they had not anticipated. The crystals hummed, and the plants shifted almost like they were observing. Lena realized that exploration was not just a physical challenge, but a test of perception and cooperation. Suddenly, they came to a plateau overlooking a valley filled with massive, floating bioluminescent plants. The plants pulsed in rhythm like a heartbeat, and the ground vibrated gently beneath their feet. Vila's eyes widened. This is remarkable, a bioluminescent ecosystem suspended in magnetic fields. We have never seen anything like this. Kiri grinned. And we get to study it up close. Let's go. They descended carefully, taking samples and documenting everything. Lena marveled at the symphony of colors and sounds. The three of them began to work like a single unit, silently communicating through gestures and glances. No words were necessary at times. Their teamwork had become instinctive. But the deeper they went into the valley, the more the environment seemed to shift in response to their presence. The floating plants moved away as they approached, and faint lights on the ground created a path leading to a crystalline cave. This way, Kiri said, pointing. I feel something important inside. Vila hesitated. We should be cautious. The energy readings are unusual. We do not know what resides within the cave. Lena looked at them both, then at the glowing entrance. We've faced challenges before. We can handle this together. Inside the cave, the walls glittered with embedded crystals. The air vibrated faintly, almost like a song. As they moved deeper, the crystals' glow brightened, forming a pattern that seemed deliberate like a message. Vila's scanner beeped. These crystals contain structured energy. They are communicating, perhaps a form of intelligence or record-keeping. Kiri's golden eyes scanned the patterns. It's a puzzle. If we can understand it, it might tell us about the planet and its creators. Lena stepped forward. Then let's solve it together. They worked side by side. Vila carefully analyzed the crystal's energy pulses, while Kiri used her telepathic intuition to detect patterns. Lena coordinated their observations, mapping sequences and predicting outcomes. Hours passed, but slowly they began to understand. The crystals were a record of the planet's history, a history of harmony between its floating flora and magnetic energy fields. As they pieced it together, Lena realized how much they had grown as a team. Each step required trust and cooperation. Each breakthrough came from combining human reasoning, Vila's precision, and Kiri's instincts. The bond between them had deepened beyond mere obligation. They had become friends and allies. Finally, the last sequence clicked into place, and a gentle harmonic tone filled the cave. The crystals glowed warmly as if acknowledging their understanding. Lena felt a rush of triumph and awe. We did it, she whispered. Vila smiled, her luminescent eyes reflecting the crystal light. Together, Kiri grinned, her claws lightly touching the crystal surface. Not bad for humans and aliens too, I guess. They laughed softly, a shared moment of victory and connection. In the quiet of the cave, surrounded by alien beauty, Lena felt something profound. The bond between them was no longer tentative. It was real, strong, and capable of facing any challenge the galaxy might present. As they left the cave and returned to the shuttle, the sun began to set over Terev 9. The valley glowed in brilliant colors, painting the sky with light that seemed almost magical. Lena looked at her stepsisters, feeling a warmth in her chest. You know, she said softly, I think we make a really good team, and maybe a real family too. Vila nodded, her expression gentle. Family is not always determined by origin. It is formed by understanding, trust, and shared experiences. Kiri smirked, her usual sharpness softened. I suppose I can agree with that for now, but don't think this means you're off the hook next time we have a challenge, Lena laughed. I wouldn't want it any other way. As the shuttle lifted off from Tarev 9, Lena gazed out at the alien landscape, feeling a deep sense of belonging. The galaxy was vast and full of unknown wonders, but she knew that as long as she had Vila and Kiri by her side, there was no challenge too great, no mystery too complex, and no world too strange to explore. For the first time since arriving at Endara Station, Lena felt truly at home, not just on the station, but in the galaxy itself. And she knew, without a doubt, that their adventures together were only just beginning. The shuttle descended smoothly toward Endara Station, carrying Lena, Vila, and Kiri back from their mission to Tarev 9. The planet's alien beauty had left them awed, but the thought of returning to the station stirred a mix of excitement and nervousness in Lena. Do you think anyone will care about our findings? She asked, peering through the viewport at the station's gleaming structure. Vila floated beside her, serene as always. They will. The data we collected is unprecedented. It could change the way we understand interplanetary ecosystems. Kiri smirked, stretching her limbs. I just hope the higher-ups appreciate that we didn't completely destroy the shuttle on the way back. Lena laughed. The three of them had grown comfortable with each other. What had started as awkward introductions had blossomed into a partnership built on trust, respect, and shared experiences. Upon docking, the station was buzzing with activity. Engineers, scientists, and explorers from multiple species had gathered in the central hub, awaiting the team's return. Lena noticed curious eyes following them as they stepped off the shuttle. News of their mission had already spread through the station's communication channels. Chief Engineer Rallan met them at the airlock, his expression unreadable at first. Then his eyes widened slightly. You actually made it back in one piece. And the data, he gestured toward the shuttle's cargo hold, where samples and records had been carefully stored. This is remarkable. Vila and Kiri remained composed, but Lena could feel their pride. They had faced an unknown world, solved complex challenges, and returned safely, together. Rallan guided them to the main conference hall. Screens around the room displayed images of Tarev 9 landscapes, the floating bioluminescent plants, crystalline caves, and shimmering energy patterns. Scientists and station officials murmured in awe. Lena felt a hand on her shoulder. It was Vila. This is the result of our combined efforts, she said softly. And a little human ingenuity, Kiri added, nudging Lena with her elbow. Lena grinned, feeling warmth spread through her chest. The station's director, a tall Zephyri named Lauren, addressed the gathered crowd. These explorers have returned from Tarev 9 with invaluable findings. Their observations and samples reveal ecosystems that challenge our understanding of planetary life. This team has demonstrated courage, intelligence, and cooperation in the face of the unknown. Let us honor them. Applause filled the hall. Lena, Vila, and Kiri stood together accepting the recognition. Lena glanced at her stepsisters. Their eyes met, and in that moment no words were needed. They had proven themselves, not just to the station, but to each other. Later, after the ceremony, the three of them retreated to the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly before them, calm and eternal. Lena leaned against the railing, feeling the station's gentle hum beneath her. You know, she said quietly, I never expected this. I mean finding a family, a team, and friends all at once. Vila's lavender skin shimmered softly in the starlight. Family is more than origin. It is built through understanding, trust, and shared challenges. We have done that. Kiri smirked, though the usual sharpness in her voice was softened by emotion. I still think you humans overcomplicate things sometimes, but yeah, we've become something more than just colleagues. Lena smiled. We have, and I'm glad, more than I can say. The three of them watched the stars in silence, each lost in thought. For Lena, the vast galaxy had always seemed intimidating, full of unknown dangers and challenges. But now, with Vila and Kiri by her side, the universe felt different, inviting, full of possibilities and filled with connection. A soft chime alerted them to a station-wide message. Rallen's voice echoed over the speakers. "Engineering team, please report to the central hub for debriefing." Lena sighed, but with a smile. "Duty calls." They walked to the central hub, their steps light. The work ahead would be challenging. There were always problems to solve, systems to repair, and mysteries to explore. But Lena no longer felt alone. Her stepsisters were no longer strangers or just colleagues. They were her family. During the debriefing, Lena coordinated with Vila and Kiri to explain the data and their observations. Officials and scientists asked questions, and the trio answered confidently. Their teamwork was seamless, their explanations precise, and their rapport undeniable. It was clear to everyone in the room. These three were more than the sum of their parts. After the debriefing, Lena lingered in the hall, watching her stepsisters as they discussed observations. Vila's meticulous notes complemented Kiri's instinctive interpretations, and Lena's guidance tied everything together. She felt a deep sense of pride, not only in what they had accomplished, but in how far they had come as a team. Later that night, back on the observation deck, Lena finally allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. The stars above were like a tapestry, endless and shining, each one a possibility, a challenge, or a wonder waiting to be discovered. Vila floated beside her. "Do you ever wonder what lies beyond the systems we know, beyond the stars we see?" Lena nodded. "All the time, but I feel ready, and I know I don't have to face it alone anymore." Kiri leaned against the railing on the other side. "Well, I'm ready for anything. But I expect you two to keep up." Lena laughed softly, her heart light. "We will, together." The three of them stayed there, looking at the stars, speaking softly about dreams, discoveries, and the mysteries of the galaxy. Their bond was no longer tentative. It was real, strong, and unbreakable. They had faced uncertainty, worked together, and learned from each other. And through it all, they had become more than stepsisters. They had become a true family, chosen and earned through trust and shared experiences. In the quiet hum of Andara Station, with the galaxy stretching endlessly beyond the glass, Lena felt a profound sense of belonging. She had arrived as a stranger, uncertain and cautious, and now she was part of something extraordinary, a team, a family, a bond stronger than the stars themselves. The galaxy awaited, vast and full of wonder, and Lena knew that with Vila and Kiri by her side, there was no adventure too daunting, no discovery too great, and no challenge too impossible. Together they would explore, learn, and grow, bound not by blood alone, but by choice, trust, and the unshakable bond of stepsisters who had found each other among the stars. As they gazed out into the endless night, Lena whispered, more to herself than anyone else, "This is only the beginning." And with that, the three stepsisters, human and alien, different but united, stood together, ready to face whatever the universe would offer next.